like that.
So, keto's bad.
Ketogenic. Have you talked about ketogenic diets on this
No,
before?
never.
Never?
No. I don't think so. Even in the other episodes, I don't think it's ever been brought up.
So most people say we need to eat carbs because it helps us with energy, but then there's a group of people who like carbs are causing all of our disease. That's not necessarily true, but
Do these people live under subways and like in clans,
Yeah,
wearing all leather
pretty much
tires as shoulder what are they, shoulder guards?
Yeah, pretty much with spikes and other
Yeah.
types of things. So the truth is we can absolutely live off of fat. Fat can be converted into, we can burn fat, and then we can also
As energy.
produce ketones. Now the thing is, our brain, everybody says, our brain needs glucose to survive, but the brain can use ketones. And the truth is carbohydrates are not essential. Essential means we have to get a source of it. Same thing with certain micronutrients, vitamins and minerals that they're essential because our body cannot produce them, make them. So carbohydrates, not technically essential, but most would probably say optimal if we do include them into our diet. But so ketogenic diets are basically where you eat about 20, maybe 30% of your diet from protein, and 70-75% from fat, and basically 5 to 10% of your diet from carbohydrates. Or you could look at it as grams of carbohydrates per day. Usually you're eating under 50 grams of carbohydrates per day. You can look, it depends, because if you're eating if you're eating 5,000 calories somehow and you're eating 10
For weight loss.
Yeah, if you're eating 5 to 10% of that, ends up being more carbohydrates. So you can look at grams of carbohydrates. And what happens is that you can actually check your blood ketone levels because you start producing them because you don't have any carbohydrates. And you can actually check your levels and everything. The crazy,
I've done it all.
The biohackers.
I've peed on sticks and the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
For your the TBI thing, I'm sure someone probably tried to.
Well, I mean, I like to treat my body kind of like a carnival.
Yeah.
And just
let's go for a ride.
I just try it all because I honestly want to know.
Yeah.
I want to have the experience.
I've done it.
It was not for me.
Yeah.
At all. Whatsoever.
How long did you do it for?
We did it for over
6 months.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a long time.
We were trying it, and the biggest issues that I have with obviously are like I just don't understand how I'm not supposed to eat any vegetables.
Yeah.
Like this is nuts.
I mean, you could have like spinach. Very.
I wasn't able to
wasn't
stay in
for me.
ketosis with 20 grams of
Wow.
carbs.
Yeah,
so I
that's
mean,
low.
like asparagus.
That's
like
very low.
I did better than she did, but
Yeah.
I just didn't feel as good.
No.
Yeah.
It took me a few weeks. And then I got fat adapted, keto
Yeah,
adapted,
same thing.
And then
About 3 weeks
I could
for me.
work out pretty well, but it was just like, this isn't for me either. And so the thing is, here are the two diet. People will be like, keto's horrible for you. These are like the plant-based, like vegan types.
Yeah.
Keto's horrible for you. You need fruit, carbohydrates, whatever. Then you got the keto zealots, the low carb zealots, who I love making fun of.
Well, I mean, there's people out there that have built an entire career on this methodology.
And they fear-monger carbohydrates and say they're inherently unhealthy, which is absolutely untrue. The truth is somewhere in the middle, of course.
Yeah,
same with like TRT or whatever. Yeah. There are people that ketogenic diet is very therapeutic. So, for example, epileptics who for some reason can't tolerate or use seizure medication, epileptic medicine. Certain types of epileptics, not all of them, may benefit from a ketogenic diet. I'm not a neurologist, so I don't even mess with those types of patients.
Yeah.
What I see, though, are those with type 2 diabetes who a therapeutic reduction in carbohydrate not only will help with weight loss, just from a lower energy balance. So ketogenic diets can help with weight loss for two reasons. A lot of people think it's the insulin and the carbohydrates increase insulin that's going to trap the fat, so you can't lose fat.
I have my own theory, I don't think it has anything to do with laboratory.
Yeah. So the insulin that has nothing. They've tested this multiple times. That's not even true. What happens is that it's a very restricted diet. You can't actually eat certain things that people like to eat a lot of. cookies, cakes. You can make keto cakes and whatever. They taste like garbage. And then actually what's funny is those people that tend to overeat on those, they tend to not lose much weight on ketogenic diet. Why? Because you're still eating more calories. It doesn't matter if it's fat. It wasn't the carbohydrates.
So do you think keto is a tool for really overweight people?
It can be.
That's what my brother did.
It can be. So it has therapeutic restriction. You can only eat certain amounts of food, certain types of food. And then in some people, they find a satiety benefit from it.
See, that's what I think.
His was, yeah.
That's what I think happens.
Yeah.
I think that people eat because fat is so satiate. What's the word?
Satiating.
Yeah, I think that you eat a big T-bone.
Yeah.
With some butter, and you're like, "Fuck, I feel good."
Yeah.
I'm
and they're good all day sometimes even. And it just digests slowly and they feel good. And you stick to that. You don't. The fewer times you eat, the quote unquote junk food.
Yeah.
High processed carb, fat.
The people that are successful with it, in my opinion, is that. Yeah. It's that they're eating less, they're satiated more, and they're just eating less. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. And that's it. And so that's what happens.
Which is great. Hey, you lose weight. That's good. But then my question to you is long-term ketosis.
Yeah. So
what does that do for your cholesterol? What is the ketones brain. On your brain? Yeah.
So it's being studied. I'm going to be one of the first people to publish the effects of that on atherosclerosis. We're looking at people that have. There's some people.
Then you can have medical doctrine. On, I know. On like why.
I'm gonna be like,
my meme is legit.
Like, this is my research. This is a real meme. So there are some people who have explosive cholesterol levels from ketogenic diets, and there's multiple theories why. Many people think it's just the saturated fat, lack of polyunsaturated, monounsaturated fat, and lack of soluble fiber. I think that's a big component. My research buddy, who's an engineer, kind of crazy, Dave, he thinks it's this lipid energy model where basically the cholesterol ends up being higher because of how it's trafficked in our body. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Some people have, looks like they have genetic mutations for how high their LDL gets up to 500, 600, 700. Yeah. So we're actually going to be studying, we're going to be the first ones to study the effects, the safety effect. Like, is this safe with people that cholesterol that high in terms of atherosclerosis? We just don't know. Honestly, like it should be what I call deleterious. It should be harmful, like if your cholesterol is going that high. But we're going to study it because there are people that don't care what I say or what cardiologist or anybody says. I feel better. Like you said, quality of life. They feel better on the ketogenic diet. They don't care if their cholesterol goes high. They'd rather have, if they think it's probably safe, but even if it caused them to have a heart attack, they just feel so much better that they're not going to go.
I don't think you're going to feel better with a heart attack, but that's.
I don't think so either. and they're adamant that once you go keto, it doesn't matter what your cholesterol. It doesn't make sense to me. They have their own theories and hypotheses, but I'm going to be the first one to study it, like with this group of researchers from UCLA.
That'll be interesting.
It's actually really cool. I'm very excited about it. We're
How long does a process like that take?
A year. So you do what's called a CTA. You look at an angiogram with a CT scan and you inject the stuff, do a CT scan, and look at the vessels of the heart. And it's so sensitive. You can actually track changes in the soft plaque. The hard plaque is a lot of times what you see with like a coronary artery calcium score, but you want to see that changes in the soft plaque that doesn't show up as calcium. So soft plaque can change a lot even within a year. So we're going to get an initial scan and we're going to get a scan in a year and see. Now we don't have a group of people who aren't doing keto to compare to, so that would be better if we could do a randomized thing, but it's really hard to do that. So we're just starting with this pilot safety thing to just see like, hey, are they rapidly progressing or do they have any progression? I don't know. So it'll be interesting. I personally think that if somebody's not having cholesterol issues on it and they feel pretty good, I think it's relatively safe. People are worried about bone loss and all sorts of issues, but I think we just need more studies on it. I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't do it.